Load up on guns and bring your friends. It's fun to lose and to pretend she's overboard and self-assured. Oh no, I know a dirty word. Hello.
Peter said Ethan Nordine was the undisputed leader of the group that day as they tried to prevent the peaceful transfer of power.
And FBI agents arrested Proud Boys former national chairman Enrique Tarrio at this home in Miami. By 2 this afternoon, he was in federal court.
Here we are now, entertain us. I feel stupid and contagious. Here we are now, entertain us. I feel stupid and contagious. Here we are now, entertain us.
He's always had a Starbucks cup.
Or is it just yours? He like always pops.
Yes, he does.
Oh, is this? It's a signature.
That in 2028. Yeah. Okay.
This is the worthless.
Do you mean like brand deals?
Huh?
Like deals?
I was supposed to have a sponsorship with Market. The company I was with totally crashed. So now I'm trying to get that back. Yeah.
Body market percent. Fishback.
I don't know. It's a good and bad idea, I would say.
Yeah, I mean,
They pay well. I bet they pay well.
they do. And I'm good friends with Nick Fury.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Oh, really? Sorry. Where's Chase Morgan at?
Your ringer's on for that phone.
I'm gonna the bar. I got one. It's good.
There you go.
It's good. Mine's a single glass of
Huh?
Is it just going ding ding?
Yeah, I was like,
That's awesome. It's hilarious.
just during the speech. It's just constant.
I'm gonna be honest, bro. I'm not right
Listen,
now.
I never claimed to be a professional, right?
I've been trying to get
It's
into
like the whole thing. It's like,
First time I ever
are you
tried it
pro
was like
athlete?
3 years ago. Me and Josh,
Yeah.
like double races, and we just both like died. The first time we ever. Did you see this that CIA guy
Yeah.
trying to endorse him?
He doesn't like Nick, though.
Yeah, I've seen him. I have
Once CIA, always CIA.
Yeah,
That's all you need
that
to
is
know.
true.
That's why Tucker's a player.
Yeah.
It's just the government.
This nation was built on Christianity, and Christ is King. Amen. 12 weeks ago, we launched this campaign, and I gotta tell you, we started at 2%. As I stand here today in Okaloosa County, we are at 23%. Congressman Donalds is at 37. He's in first place. We are in second place, but not for long. Honestly, we are right on his bumper. Soon, we'll pull him over. Congressman, license and registration, please. Whoa, easy there, hands on the wheel. Congressman, I regret to inform you, you're under arrest for betraying America to AIPAC. It's really simple. Put America first. Oh, wait. Period. Put America first, but strike Iran when Israel asks. No. Put America first, but start new wars in the Middle East. No. Put America first, period, full stop. That is what we have to do. And look, I can't in good faith tell you that I'm going to put you and your family and your brothers and sisters and your neighbors first if you take money from a foreign country. I don't care if that foreign country is Sweden. I don't care if that foreign country is Australia. It doesn't matter if that foreign country is even Israel. Let me be very clear. Congressman Donalds' AIPAC tracker will stay blood red. Mine will stay green because I work for you, not Israel. This campaign, this movement is not about hatred of anyone. You don't hate foreign countries. You don't hate immigrants. What we do is we have an unapologetic love, devotion, dedication, unwavering commitment to American citizens wherever they are in our state. Black or white, rural or urban, rich or poor. This is a movement that will fight for the dignity of every single one of our neighbors. The ability to get a great paying job right out of high school, to graduate and get a great paying job afterward, to have the income to go buy a home and not to compete with BlackRock or Blackstone or private equity firms or foreign nationals to buy that 3-bed, 2-bath for you and your fiance to move into. That's not what this is about. Look, politicians will say they'll fight, and I'm not going to question that actually. I believe they will fight. And the question is, whom will they fight for? Will you fight for private equity to price out Florida families and the communities they built? Or will you fight for Florida families to actually be able to buy a home? It's bizarre that in the United States it's in Crestview or Laurel Hill or Mary Esther or Niceville, and be outbid by Blackstone by $500. And that home that they had already set their mind on, taken from them. The children they were going to have now pushed out and delayed. Their entire future put on pause, their trajectory torn asunder. Why? Because the private equity firm wanted to add their margins. Let me be very clear with you this evening. Hire me as governor, and I will ban private equity, Blackstone, and BlackRock from buying single-family homes. And look, my favorite economist, Thomas Sowell, said that in politics there are no solutions, there are only trade-offs. So here's the trade-off. Blackstone loses the money, or you, your kids, and your grandkids lose their country, lose their livelihood, lose their birthright. You pick which one you want. Of course, Blackstone's going to lose some money, but I'm not up at night worried about a private equity firm that takes money from foreign investors in China to buy homes right here in Florida. I'm also not worried about companies who have to hire Florida workers instead of foreign nationals from India. It's called the H-1B scam. It's pervasive. And as students a couple weeks ago, FSU has applied to over 100 positions at Amazon, top this class, 4.0 GPA, great test scores, can't get a job at Amazon and tell them we're not hiring right now. Well, this is the Amazon that just applied for 10,000 more H-1B petitions to bring more foreigners from Calcutta and Dubai to Florida to replace people like him. And they're not bringing the Indians over because they're smarter. They're not bringing them over because they're more capable. They're bringing them over because they're cheaper. Slavery was wrong before. It is wrong now. Hire me as governor and we will dismantle the H-1B scam so you, your kids, and your grandkids can get great paying jobs again. And it's not just Amazon or Microsoft. It's also you go to Disney World. You go to Universal Studios, you go to any of the hotels, whether it's here in Northwest Florida or Orlando or Jacksonville or Miami, and it's foreign workers everywhere. Serving ice cream at Disney World, 19-year-old workers from Thailand or the Philippines, good people, I'm sure. But what about the kids in our community? That job isn't going to change your life, but it's a great place to start to get some experience under your belt, to save some money. As Quavo once said, stacks of paper, to be in a position where you can actually move on to the next job, because the parents and grandparents in the room know you need a job to be able to get a job. You need job experience to be able to get the next job. And it's crazy that the people serving popcorn at Epcot and the people checking us into our hotels are here from foreign countries. Some of it's H-2A, some of it's H-2B. There's all sorts of visas for blue-collar work. Crazy idea. We have qualified people right here in our communities. They are hungry, they are ready to work, and guess what? If you have to pay them a little bit more, get over it. Have some loyalty to your country for once. We will make sure that any high school grad who is hungry, who is disciplined, who wants a job, will be able to be gainfully employed after high school. Speaking of high school, what is with these ice cream First Amendment absolutist. You want to criticize you want to agree with President Trump, no lie, be my guest. But you gotta recognize real in that moment. Free speech only matters if you're willing to defend it when it's people who disagree. And yet I know that you and I disagree, like many of us do, with the holdings at our schools. If they want to protest ICE, they can go to the courthouse on Saturday and do so peacefully outside. They can do a rally outside the city hall or the city park. And they try the First Amendment. They say we have free speech. We have the First Amendment. The First Amendment does not give you the right to be an incorrigible delinquent. When I am governor, you have two choices. Get held out of class or you're getting expelled. That's it. That's it. Look, I don't agree with that, but I'll defend their free speech rights. So long as it doesn't disrupt the class, as long as it happens on the weekend. And who are we kidding? Do we really think the 14-year-old kids have a strong position on ICE? They really know what they're talking about. Who they're actually defending, the violent criminals who broke into our country with Kamala Harris and Warren. I might respect these kids if they had gone out and held walkouts for Jocelyn Gary, Blake, and Wiley, or Rachel Moran, but they didn't because our corrupt public school system told them what mattered, and American citizens did not make a list. Hire me as governor, and we will provide the love of America in our classrooms once again. I gotta tell you, I'm a public school kid from kindergarten to graduation. My mom told me after 3 weeks of going to Catholic school, that's all I lasted. You can't go to elementary school public and go to middle school Catholic and expect it to be all blended in. But I'm a public school kid. And my sister is a proud public school teacher. My grandmother was, my aunt was. And I gotta tell you, I present a small minority of Republican elite establishment that is not denigrating our public school teachers. I present that. The public school teachers that I know wake up early, stay late, inspire their students with creative lessons. They don't want government bureaucrats, Democrats, or Republicans telling them how to teach their lesson so long as they're speaking the truth. If you're a public school teacher and you're showing up to school every single day, you will have a governor and me that will have your back. As Joe, as Jeff Bush once said, he's fine. And as Joe Biden once said, you know the rest. But it doesn't change the fact that there's a small minority of public school teachers who wake up every single day trying to indoctrinate young impressionable youth. If you're a public school teacher in Florida, you're one of the very few who decides to be the indoctrinator in chief. If you try to push white guilt on your students as a public school teacher in Florida, you will not be a public school teacher in Florida right now. Not to tell the white students to apologize to the black students, and you are not to tell the black students that they did not make it in America because of systemic racism. Black or white, we are all created in God's image. Every single one of us is capable of greatness. And you know what? Community teach Florida history as well in our public schools. It's crazy that public school students will know more about Europe than they will about the Florida Panhandle. The students in South Florida won't be able to tell you about the Battle of Mariana in the 1860s. Won't be able to tell you about the Mississippi and the Seminole of the Crusaders. Won't be able to tell you where divides Eastern and Central time in our state, which we all know is the Appalachian Cold. We need to revive not just a sense of American pride, but Florida pride in our school. And let me be very clear. As governor, I will never apologize for our Confederate history. Pardon my language, but there were good men on both sides of that war. And when I think about the Confederate monuments that I see in Jackson County, or my own home of Madison County, I see brave men, fathers, brothers, husbands, who defended their communities. And at the end of the war, we put our differences aside, as we do often as Americans, and come together. And that is what we need to do more than ever. We do not have a two-party system. We don't. If you had a two-party system, one party would consistently vote against foreign aid, and one party would consistently vote for foreign aid. The problem is both parties consistently vote for taking more of our money, money that we don't have, far away from China.
That debt burden on our children and grandchildren. Money that we don't have.
That is not what our founding fathers.
A country where our politicians woke up and were preoccupied with one thing and one thing only: the general welfare of American citizens. Not illegal aliens, not private equity firms, not foreign countries, but American citizens. As governor, I will wake up every single day. Whether you're a truck driver in Crestview or a U.S. sugar worker in Clewiston, whether you're a retired sailor in Pensacola or an active duty Marine in Southwest Florida, I report to one class of people and one class alone, and that is you, the American citizens. Look, we all want to make America great again. The question is, what do we mean by America? Make America great again. Well, it depends how you define America. Is America the stock market? Is America GDP?
No, it's Israel.
So make Israel great again, not make America great.
Come on, I don't disagree. But you're like 2 paragraphs ahead of the speech right now. I'm getting there. Can you imagine, it's like it's Lincoln at Gettysburg and you're reading halfway down the speech? But I'll tell you, when we say make America great again, and then they say, well, the stock market's at 50,000. The Dow is at 50,000. America is great. No, America cannot be great when we are defending pedophiles in Washington, D.C., Democrat or Republican. Hire me George Orwell said it best in 1984, that the party's final and most essential command was to deny the evidence of your eyes and ears. We have all seen what was in those files. It's not enough to release all 6 million. It's not enough to redact, to unredact every single one of them. It is time for prosecutions. Let's be very clear. There is federal law, which I don't control. There is state law, which I absolutely control. Capital sexual battery. Florida state law does not carry a statute of limitation. It doesn't matter whether it happened 20 years ago or 30 years ago. We all know about Epstein's Island, Little St. James. It was another island that was actually even more pervasive, even more disgraceful, even more degenerate. And that island was right here in Florida, the island of Palm Beach. hire me as governor, on my first freaking day in office, I will appoint a statewide special prosecutor to reopen the Epstein investigations. And look, I don't care if there's a D next to your name or if there's an R next to your name. I don't care if you've got money, if you've got 3 or 4 homes, and I don't even care if you work for Israel on the side. We will bring you to justice in the state of Florida. We will not allow you to traffic, to assault, and to rape little girls. We are better than that. You must be brought to justice. Now, we'll move back. Capital sexual battery carries something called the death sentence. Now look, should you be killed for carjacking somebody? Should you be executed? No. Shoplifting? No. I believe that there are very limited cases in which we should exercise the death penalty. But I think in this case in particular, we have to for 2 reasons. The crimes, as we have all read them, are horrific. Beyond the pale. You could put Stephen King in a room for 10 years and he could not recreate the scenes that we have all read in those files. These men committed heinous crimes and they must pay for those crimes. That's the first reason why you can't take the death sentence off the table. But second, as a society, we have to send a very loud and clear message to anyone who would dare think of doing that to any woman or girl in our state. Look, I'm not talking about an extrajudicial death sentence. You will be investigated, arrested, charged, arraigned. You will be tried before a jury of your peers. If that jury, after our statewide prosecutor puts on the evidence, if that jury finds guilt, we will sentence you to death.
Put him in the wood chipper.
The Lord says, vengeance is mine. That vengeance will be exacted on Judgment Day. But guess what? We control when that Judgment Day is. We are going to send them to the Lord a heck of a lot sooner. And this is not something that we can sweep under the rug. It is not a Democrat hoax. I don't know what Kash Patel is doing. But honestly, I wouldn't trust him to investigate what happened to my DoorDash last night. Look, we don't have any problem with you partying with the U.S. hockey team, chugging a couple beers. But you can't do that when you're covering for sick, depraved men who have gone free for far too long. I respect President Trump. I proudly voted for him in 2024. But it's time for Kash Patel and Pam Bondi to step down. This campaign is about 5 things. Not 4, not 6, 5, until I change my mind and make it 6 or 7. Whoa, 6 or 7. Number 1 is affordability. We're the best state in the country, but we cannot stay the best, John, if the people who made us the best can no longer afford to live here. Whether it's property tax, property insurance, auto insurance, the tolls to get to and from work, we have to address affordability, not so you can have a couple $100 at the end of the month, so you can afford to exist in your own state. So as a young couple, you can afford to buy a home. Because if you can't afford to buy a home, can you get married? If you can't get married, can you have kids? And if you can't have kids, guys, what on earth is the point? Let's talk about actually addressing a job market that works for foreigners but not for Koreans. Let's actually talk about making it easier to pay your bills, to get down payment assistance. Not to hand out more money on welfare, but to give people a hand up, to invest in our own communities for once. That is what affordability is about. Look, I'm not for property tax reform. I'm not for property tax elimination. I am for property tax elimination. Because, look, we don't really have a choice here. If you are trying to put a state that can deliver for everyone, for the senior citizen who's scraping together funds at the end of the year to pay a property tax bill, or the young couple who buys a home and finds out, congrats, you have a white elephant now because now you have to pay not just your mortgage, but your property tax, your property insurance, and HOA. We have to take care of all of that. Now, look, I'm not a political guy. I want to be very honest because I don't want to catfish anybody, even though I was on Tinder last week. And look, I joined Tinder not to pull chicks. I joined Tinder to meet young women where they are, to share my plan on how I can make life easier for women. Easier to buy a home, easier to get married, easier to have kids, and when it's all said and done, to retire. And in my Tinder profile, I can't believe I'm saying that. In my Tinder profile, I was very upfront about what my view is on the issue of life. Life begins at conception. Either abortion is murder or it isn't. It's not suddenly okay at a certain point or before a certain point in time. Either it's murder or it isn't. Either it is a genocide against the next generation or it isn't. Either it is a Holocaust, yes, a Holocaust against the preborn, or it isn't. The correct number of abortions in the state of Florida is 0. As governor, I will shut down the remaining 53 abortion clinics in our state. And I'm not going to mince words. I'm not going to give you a word salad that would make Kamala Harris blush. I'm not going to do that. Oh, is she drinking again? Did she ever stop, actually? I'm not going to give you an answer, and you may not like this answer, and that's okay, and I hope we can still get along. We're not going to agree on everything. But unlike my opponent who wants to dance around the issue, let me just tell you where I stand. If a full abortion ban came across my desk, I would sign it, and it would be the honor of a lifetime. It's not enough, though, to merely change the law. It's not enough to merely shut down 53 abortion clinics. We have to erect 53 crisis pregnancy centers for young, vulnerable women who struggle with an unexpected, unplanned pregnancy. I can't stand the thought of a single mom walking to a Planned Parenthood saying I would keep the baby if I could just get baby food for the first 3 months. No, ma'am, all we offer is murder. I would keep the baby if I could just get some prenatal and postpartum care. No, ma'am. All we offer is murder. I would keep the baby if I just could have some support. No, all we offer is murder. We can get rid of abortion. We can eliminate abortion, but we will not be able to get rid of unplanned, unexpected pregnancies. As governor, I will always stand with vulnerable women. I will never shame them. I will never ask them to relive or relitigate their whole life experience or question them, as many entrenched Republican establishment figures do. We will come together as a community and support our moms with baby food, with diapers, with prenatal and postpartum care. And yes, when you give birth on Saturday, we will not expect you to show up to work on Monday morning. Hire me as governor, and we will implement statewide paid maternity leave for every mom in Florida. Look, I'm not a Republican politician who's going to sit here and say, why did you have sex? Why? No, it's over. You have a beautiful child in the womb. How can we as Christians come together and support you in that moment? Republicans who simply want to change the law but don't want to spend a penny for moms who need that support. Republicans who will tell a single pregnant mom, no, we don't have the money, but we'll send $5 billion to Israel. It's unacceptable, and they are traitors to this country. Look, we have been a very generous people. We have sent aid to people who like us, and we've sent aid even more to people who absolutely hate us. Remember when Doge uncovered that USAID shenanigan? And what did we find out? We were sending money to Iraq for Sesame Street. And then we had to cut it. We were sending money to a transgender opera in Colombia. And then we had to cut it. We were sending money to Mozambique for circumcisions. And we had to cut that too, quite literally. The point is, radical idea. Our money stays here. It doesn't go over there. Period. And we don't care where over there is. We don't care. But I'll tell you, as we sit here tonight, the foolish Republicans in Tallahassee have lent $385 million of our money to the nation of Israel. If you're a small business owner and you need to hire a worker to help grow your landscaping business, and you knocked on the state capitol and said, I just need $5,000. I just need to hire this worker and I can double my revenue over the 6 months. No, we don't give money to you. If you're a college student who wants to maybe drop out and go to a technical school, but needs to cover the fees and the tuition, there's no money for you. If you're a senior citizen who needs a little bit of money to stay in the home that you raised your children in, there is no money for you, but there's money to fund pointless, disastrous, genocidal wars in the Middle East. As governor, I will divest the full $385 million they sent to Israel. And it's not about hatred of Israel. It's not about hatred of Jews. Let me be very clear. I condemn religious hatred against Jews, against Muslims, and yes, against the most persecuted group in the United States of America, and that is Christians. We must stop anti-Christian hate. We must stop the slanderous lie of toxic masculinity. The idea that all of society's ills and sins rest at the feet of young men, the same young men who built this country. Men are in crisis right now. And it's not about necessarily what's government going to do for them. Because we know that government is not going to solve our problems. We know the wise words of President Reagan, the most dangerous 9 words in the English language. I'm here from the government, and I'm here to help. We just want a government that fights for us in at least the same way they'll fight for other countries and other people. Why? Why on earth is that so hard? Democrat, Republican, they're the same party at this point. I've been a registered Republican since high school, but at times I don't recognize my party. I just don't. We need to get back to the party of Teddy Roosevelt. To get back to the party that Donald Trump stood for in 2015 and 2016. And I believe that President Trump means well, but I also believe he's pulled in 15 different directions by advisors that are highly, highly compromised. But I also believe that the 10th Amendment and our federalist system vests real power in the state government, not in the federal government. And that is why I'm asking you to hire me as your next governor. We don't have a lot of time. If we go another 10 years of property developers taking over more land, paving over more wildlife, building and turning our state into a concrete jungle, not for anything valuable. It'd be one thing if they were building a bookstore or a cafe. No, they're building more self-storage units, the 7th Dollar General, whatever the heck a Five Below is. I do actually know what it is. I got a giant Twizzler there once. It turns out it's actually not Five Below, it's a hoax. Some things are actually quite expensive in there. And they say, well, why are you picking
We interrupt this broadcast. Hold on, let me take this off the screen. I'm interrupting this broadcast because we are going to start covering the State of the Union. I'm going to start a new stream, and we should be live in the next 2 minutes. In the next 2 minutes, we'll be live. So thank you for joining. I'm sorry to cut in on Fishback, but the State of the Union is coming in, as we heard from Mr. Fishback there. Hopefully we have him soon on the Warboy Studios saying some amazing things. I'm still not 100% convinced, but we will have him hopefully on the show soon, maybe with Reno himself. Thank you, guys.